Okay, I think we're ready to get started. We still have a few more people coming in, but I just want to say welcome to everyone. My name is Debbie Mata. I've had the chance to meet some of you guys, and I am a parent liaison with the Round Rock ISD parent programs. And our job as parent liaisons is to help you connect to what your child is learning in the classroom. And we like to call it Link to Learning. And also from our parent programs team tonight is Daisy.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight.
And Alejandra.
Hi, welcome families. We're glad you're here with us. Bienvenidos y gracias todos por estar aquí esta noche con nosotros.
And guys, you don't see her, but behind the scenes is our amazing program coordinator, Sybil Lee, who is running all things technology for us. And we would not be able to do any of this stuff without her. So we're really grateful for her doing all of the tech stuff for us and keeping us in line. Now, I mentioned before we were able to meet some of you when we did our bag distribution, and it was so great having those conversations with you guys. There are so many different things that we've talked about, and we're going to try to hit on quite a few of those things tonight. But our biggest focus tonight is on getting our sixth graders ready for seventh grade and using the summertime to find those opportunities. So we're going to show you some fun and easy ways to support your child's learning this summer. But we're recording the session, so don't worry about it if you don't think you need to take notes or anything like that. We'll send all of this information to you after the session today.
And I will be your chat moderator tonight, and I hope that you will feel comfortable interacting with us by using the chat. We would love to know who's with us tonight. So if you haven't done already, please type your name and your child's school. The chat feature is located at the bottom of your screen. Click on it and share your comments, questions. Estaré monitoreando el chat para ustedes esta noche y espero que se sientan bien interactuando con nosotros. Nos encantaría saber quién está aquí con nosotros. Así que si aún no lo ha hecho, escriba su nombre y la escuela de su hijo. La función del chat la encuentra en la parte inferior de la pantalla. Haga clic en él y comparta sus comentarios o preguntas. Gracias.
Thank you, Alejandra. Now, here we go, guys. We're going to get started. Daisy's going to start us off with a game. Now, this game is actually connected to the sixth grade TEKS, which TEKS stands for Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills. And that's just another way we always refer to the curriculum. And you'll hear us refer to these often tonight. So parents, do you think that you are smarter than a sixth grader? This game is called Which is the Better Deal? And if you have your sixth grader with you, they can do it right along with you. Try it together.
All right, Debbie, I think we're all ready. Okay, so let's say we need enough spaghetti to feed a family of 4. Here we have 2 different sizes of spaghetti. Do you think we should get 2 small cans or 1 big one? Which is the better deal? A, the smaller can for 98 cents, or B, the bigger can for $2.12. Go ahead and enter your answer in the chat. So at most stores, you will see 2 numbers on a price tag. We have covered one with a red square here, just for the game purpose of the game. This is called the unit price. Now let's look and see on our next slide. And there you will see that now that we've uncovered that unit price, you can see that buying 2 of the smaller cans at 6.6 cents per ounce is actually cheaper than the big one at 8.1 cents per ounce. And you actually get more food as well. So A is the better deal.
Daisy, I see a lot of parents answering A, so you're all right.
Got it correct. All right. Okay. So a lot of the times our first instinct would probably be to grab the larger one, economy size, or we're in a hurry, right? But is it the better deal? The trick is to figure out how much more food you can get for the money that you are spending. All right, so, okay, so on this next slide, now families, without trying to calculate it in your head, which is the first size cup you would grab for a drink? A, B, or C? And the next slide will show us that C is the better deal. How do we know this? You can easily calculate it by grabbing a calculator, or like most of us, just grab your phone and divide the price by the unit. And in this case, the unit is in ounces. So all you have to do is just divide $1.59 by 44. Easy, right? A lot of people would have probably chosen B. And to be honest, that would have been me. Now it's right in the middle, right? So anyway, we often purchase on impulse and we don't think about the price. So encourage your 6th grader to practice calculating the price per unit and save some money this summer.
They see lots of parents answer C, so you guys are so smart. And you know what? Those things can add up.
That's right. Those do add up. That's so true. So it was super easy for you guys, and it's probably second nature, parents. You do this all the time. And so this game is just a good example of the start to conversations you and your child can have as they prepare for 7th grade. They've already had these same discussions in 6th grade math as they learned about unit prices and ratios as part of their core curriculum, or the TEKS, like we mentioned earlier. So understanding units, whether the units are like we had here, ounces, or whether they're days, meals, dollars, and how to portion them out, that is a very important skill needed in 7th grade. And it fits right into your daily life. You do it just as if it's nothing. It's second nature to you. So think about ways that you can roll that into your summer. You can put them in charge of a shopping list to find the best deals based on what your family needs to eat for the week or for the month. Put them in charge of budgeting for a road trip and miles to the gallon or things like that. Just by practicing this one skill, you're making a huge difference in your child's preparation for 7th grade math. It's a tough age to remember, but as parents, even though they're at this age, we still are their biggest influence. It is an age where their bodies are getting bigger and their challenges are getting bigger as well. And we tend to, as parents and as caregivers, we tend to step back and give our kids more space and independence, which is a good thing, right? And it's the right time to do it. But sometimes in doing so, it's easy for us to lose connection with their academic development, and they still really need us quite a bit. And it seems so much easier, at least to me, when they were younger, right? We could say, you know, what color is this apple? Or count the blocks. How many blocks do you see? 1, 2, 3. Or just ask, you know, what sound does this letter make? And we could ask question after question, and it seemed so much easier then. But even though school gets more complex in the upper grades, we can still help our kids find real world opportunities to practice what they're learning. And it's also a great way to open up incredible conversations with our teens and tweens. And I need lots of help with that. I've got 2 boys. The great part is that we don't need to know the answers, which is good because my kids wouldn't believe me anyway. I don't know the answers, but we just need to remember to keep asking those questions, just like we did when they were younger, just kind of shift more towards the open-ended side of things. So I mentioned that I'm a parent of a 6th grader too, and I've talked to some of you guys about this. My son's everyone's here's entire first year of middle school began at least virtually, right? And my son stayed virtual the whole year. Some of you guys have done the same, and some have gone back in person. But either way, I share your concerns about the adjustment next year. It's just been different this year. And so as we move back towards traditional looking school, we all have some concerns about their adjustment academically and some social and emotional and just all the things, right? So I want to make sure to acknowledge that. And I want to let you know that the district is working on that reentry plan for all of them. We're going to send some information to you after this. They still have some things in the works. So we'll have information for you specifically about camps that they can attend to work on those social and emotional aspects of things, and just that reentry into school, especially for those who haven't even been to middle school yet, and they'll have finished their whole first year. But as for tonight, we're just going to focus on one goal, and that's to keep our brains working over the summer. And you're already doing it as you teach your kids these life skills, just like that game that we played earlier. You just need to invite them along. So tonight, we're just going to offer some ideas to help you get started, and you can expand on those, and I hope you take them and run. And I hope you also share your ideas with us too, so that we can all learn from one another. All right, here we go. Let me just point out the obvious here. Middle school is a time of constant changes, right? I mean, do you remember when you were 13? There is so much going on physically, mentally, socially, and emotionally. And so tonight we've intentionally chosen these activities because they tie directly with the TEKS, with the 6th grade TEKS and the 6th grade curriculum that prepares them for 7th grade. So we want to keep those going on for the summer just to make that transition that much smoother. But we really want to keep in mind that these are meant to be fun too, right? Summer is coming, and we would just want to open up conversations in this new and complex phase of life. So this particular statistic really stood out for me. Their brains are growing at the fastest rate since when they were infants. This is the time for them to absorb and learn. They're doing the best they can with their fast-growing brain. And so it helps us to keep in mind how that brain works as much as we can. We know that they can be impulsive. We know that they are still learning to make decisions, and we know that they're going to make poor decisions, and that's one way that they learn is from mistakes. And I still do, right? They need variety and interaction, and they need to learn about things that they can relate to and that they're passionate about. And they can only remember 5 to 7 bits of information at a time, which I have to say, I think I'm still stuck in that zone, especially during this pandemic. But basically, we're just giving them the tools to solve the problems. We're not solving them or helping them. We're just giving them the tools, and you guys are already doing that.
That's right, Debbie. So families, think about math and science. We use them daily in the real world, just like when we're shopping for deals, right? So as we teach our children basic life skills, we're also teaching them math and science. So for instance, when you're using a recipe to cook your favorite meal.
Hey, cooking is always a science experiment in my house.
Or when you go out to eat, encourage your child to calculate how much money to leave for a tip. Give them that job. Or budgeting miles to the gallon. And of course, finding the best sales on items that they want to buy. So these are great life lessons and discussions to have over the summer.
That's true, Daisy. And I'm just looking at the slide right here where it says calculating paint for a room. And let me tell you, I just did that last summer. And I had to ask my kids, we had to figure out how much paint we needed in order to paint the whole house. We just didn't do one room, it was the whole house. And it was great because we ended up only having a few ounces of paint left. So it was a great practice to do this.
Sorry, that's a great idea. Paint is expensive, and I hate it when we have leftover paint.
Yes, it is expensive.
That's a good example, and the tip is too. I'm going to use that one. Okay, parents, if you have your activity bag and you want to pull it out and try some things, you can. If you don't have a bag, these are things that you can do with what you have at home as well. You can grab a piece of paper and just use a pen and paper at any given point. But I just want to show you how to use the things that we did put in your bag. And we're going to learn how to launch some fun conversations and hopefully sneak in a little bit of learning too. So the first activity is the math activity, and we've provided a graphing board. It's a really hard graphing board. If you guys have that, that's going to be for math. And so is, if you look in your little pencil bag, it's got some dry erase markers and a cute little eraser for you too. So that's all we'll need for math tonight. And like I said, these are tied to the TEKS. So that's why we're focusing on these. And we're going to keep it really simple, but I hope you have a lot of fun with these and that you take them even further. Because these will not only keep those important math skills alive, but they'll also help you connect with your child in some fun ways, hopefully. Okay, first, let's start with a chart. Now, a chart is just a visual representation of data, and data is just information. And a chart creates a picture of that data. And if you think about it, we use charts all the time. And I would say this past year, more than any, we've been inundated with charts. I mean, how many of you regularly looked at the COVID-19 charts, right? It was kind of a daily life thing for this whole past year, but they're around us all the time anyway. And in my house, we check the allergy charts regularly.
Oh yeah, Debbie, the grass is high today.
Oh, we are feeling it in this house for sure. And, you know, sports charts and sports statistics, that is definitely a common bond between both grownups and kids. And we use those all the time to make predictions and comparisons, like who do you think is going to make it to the World Series? Or who do you think is going to be the MVP of the game? And stats help us all the time, and so those charts. So what we want to do is we want to start thinking about what type of charts we'll reference the most with our kids this summer, because they are all around us. I know when it hits mid-July for me, we start checking the weather charts, right? Because forever it's what, triple digits for a long time. So we're thinking, when is it going to cool down to like 98? Just some kind of double digit thing. And then we want to predict a little rain too. All right. So as we start thinking of things we can compare and predict this summer, we're going to use the example that we have in your bag. And if you don't have it, that's fine. We're going to send all this stuff to you anyway. Just follow along with this example. You'll get the idea. So this is an example that your student might have had in 6th grade math to learn about predicting and comparing. This is on the blue sheet that's in your bag. So Aiden, a student, asked a group of students in his class to choose their favorite type of music from the choices of rock, hip hop, and country. If you look at this chart right here, you can see the results of his survey. And obviously, hip hop is the most popular favorite. And all we do when we start looking at this picture of information is start asking questions for further thinking. So we gave you some examples of that too. And the teachers are going to take it further with them, and they'll combine data and they're going to look at it in different ways. Right now, we just want to ask those questions to help them do that. So for the sake of practice, Alejandra, will you practice with me on some further thinking questions?
Of course.
Okay, so looking at this chart, we see that hip hop is the most favorite, country came in second, and then rock. So let's say that Aiden has another class after this one, and he continues to ask the students in his next class, what do you predict will be the highest ranking favorite then, and why?
Well, Debbie, in this case, I'm going to predict that hip hop will continue to be the favorite. It's just based on age. Maybe they're following the same singer, same music type, social media. So I'm going to predict hip hop.
That's a logical prediction, right? The kids have common interests and, you know, the popular artists and things like that that are played the most. That makes perfect sense. So that's one prediction. Let's think about this. What if he asks only his teachers? What do you predict will happen?
Well, in that case, I'm going to predict that It will be a different answer. Again, I'm going to be based on age. I'm going to say rock because teachers rock. So
I was about to say that. Teachers rock. That's right. Yeah, it could be completely different, but who knows? We may have a large group of hip hop lovers or country lovers in our teacher population. We don't know, but we can make predictions just trying to guess about the different variables and factors in there.
After all, this is Texas, right? So country music.
That's right.
That's right. I love that answer. All right. So just for fun, families, let's take this same poll and find out what your favorite type of music is. All right. So actually the poll popped up and you can go ahead and vote. You've got 3 choices: rock, hip hop, or country. Now, after you've chosen, please don't forget to click the submit button.
Oh, this is really neat to watch them coming in. It's kind of neck and neck.
Yes. We've got hip hop.
Any predictions on what it will be? Does anyone know? What do you predict? It's looking pretty close.
Oh yeah, rock is falling right behind hip hop.
You think that's about everyone that's going to vote?
I think so. We've got most of everyone voted. Yes.
That's right, Gretchen. Come
All
on, Rock. Oh my goodness, so close. So close. But that just shows the variety that we have. Okay, I got it written down now. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of this example, I wrote down what the results of our poll were, and I'm going to show you how to draw a picture of that information. You guys can probably do it too, and you'll probably do a better job than me, but it was pretty close. We had 34% that voted for rock and 37% that voted for hip hop, and only 29% that voted for country. So bear with me in my artwork here on the spot, but that's a pretty close graph. They're pretty close with each other. So it's interesting to start asking questions and thinking about, you know, had we asked more people, had we opened it up to more types of music, what would some of the predictions be? What type of music do you think would have been the most favorite? Any of those other questions along the way. So, by the way, as you're working with this, ask your 6th grader to show you what they know about the x-axis and the y-axis. They should be familiar with this, and we'll send all of this to you afterwards, so don't worry about writing it down, but they should be able to do that for you as well. It should sound familiar. They've been working on that for a couple of years now. So that's one picture, right, of that information, and there's more than one way to look at information, and charts and graphs just help us put it in a picture form, just like that bar graph for music. But data does not always have to be represented in numbers. They can also be descriptions as well. So we've added some of these fun examples and tips in your kit. And on this next slide, you'll see that here is a line graph that we included. So line graphs can show trends if that's something that you want to track. And if you look at this particular graph, you will see that this graph is about addiction to funny memes. I don't know if you can relate to that or not, especially with all the time that we've spent online during this pandemic, but you can see the trend here is the more hours someone spends online, the more likely they are to be addicted to funny memes and sending them to their friends all the time. And I'll go ahead and confess that I have become that person. I love that whole I'm not a cat one. That one's one of my favorites. So think about the things that you can chart and predict with your child and keep it fun and funny. You can compare things like how long do you wait before texting someone back? And you can make a line graph that shows the curve there. You can compare who in your family is most likely to be able to live without their cell phone for a week. That's another one. And obviously the sports, you can go crazy with those. But you can also try some of these silly ones we put in your activity kit. There's some really funny ones in there, like strictness and parent. My favorite one is usefulness during a zombie apocalypse. I want to try that because I'm curious to see where I would fall on that chart. But feel free to type in the chat. I know you guys have some good ideas. So if you think of anything, please share them with us. We'd love to hear from you too. basically we just want to think about predictions and comparisons and how to put information into a chart as a picture and start those conversations with our kids.
Yes, parents, start typing away. And while you do that, let me tell you, every year for the 4th of July, my family likes to ask our friends that are coming for a barbecue, what kind of pie they like or is their favorite. And based on those answers, we buy that pie. And after many years of doing the same thing and exactly the same families, we now know Cher is the most favorite one here. So this is making me think maybe this year I'll be asking for ice cream flavors or, favorite fruits. So
I love it.
For me.
See, that surprises me because if I had predicted about favorite pies for a 4th of July picnic, I would have predicted apple pie. So that's something neat. But I love those ideas, and I love the ideas about the screen time and time on the switch. And I'm sure that you can even have your child poll their friends about which ones are their favorite video games. That's huge in my house because apparently, if y'all haven't heard, Fortnite is not popular right now and everybody's back into Minecraft until I'm sure some brand new season comes out and some new cool thing, but it's hard to keep up with. So those are interesting things that change and interesting conversations. Yes. And all you want to do is, as you go through these activities together, is just encourage them to ask questions and encourage them to look for solutions. Ask them, what's the problem and what will you need to solve it? Because they're not going to want you to do it for them. Ask them, what's your plan? And how do you know your solution is accurate? Which I think is such a really important conversation to have because charts can be misleading, right? So all the questions and conversations around that can lead to some amazing discussions. And predictions and comparisons using graphs and charts are all around us, and you're probably going to notice them now more than ever after we've talked about them tonight. So when you do, just remember that they're perfect for these open-ended conversations at this age. And that these are important critical thinking skills, not just for 7th grade, but for life. I mean, think about that. Calculating a tip. I'm going to remember to do that with my kids this summer for sure, hoping that we go somewhere where we need to do that. And if you make mistakes, that's even great too, because it's another discussion of what you can learn from that.
That is true. I made a lot of mistakes, and that's how I learn. Okay, so ready for our science activity. All right, parents, let me get my stuff in here. I am so sorry. All right. Now let's check how are we going to be doing this experiment and start thinking of, what to do during summer days by the pool or the park, having a picnic with friends and family. I just can't wait for summer. So this activity will help you learn about energy. This builds up to what they will be learning in 7th and 8th grade. They will learn earth science in 7th grade and then even more types of energy in 8th grade. So if you don't have your bag next to you, don't worry, I'll show you how to set this up. Now you have 2 containers. These containers will be your 2 coolers. Now the plastic bags, let me show you. It's for the ice cubes. You have bubble wrap and cotton balls. This will be your insulation. Now you have the instructions in your bag, so you can do it with your children anytime. This is good for kids of all ages. So involve the siblings if you can.
Oh, hey, real quick, if you don't mind, let me jump in. While you have the opportunity, while you're pulling things out of your bag, don't miss out on this journal that we've included. It's a composition book, but you can create an interactive science or math journal here. So don't miss out on all the opportunities to have your child journal, draw, chart, graph, all their noticings and wonderings, predictions, things like that. It is a great way to connect writing to science and math. And they're going to be doing that all through middle school and high school. So it's a great practice to get started. And I have a link I'll put in the chat on just how to get started on an interactive science notebook, but you can Google and look up all sorts of neat ideas. I'll stick that in the chat.
Oh, I love those interactive books, and they keep kids busy, so get those ready. And who doesn't need to write now? We're all spending too much time on computers, different devices, so we need more hands-on writing and creativity. Who doesn't love a handwritten note from their kids? Like I do. Okay, so let's continue with this. You're gonna grab one. I'm gonna show you here. This is gonna be kind of tricky. Fill the inside of each plastic container with an insulating material. So one will be the bubble wrap. Just put it in there. And the other, we're gonna use the cotton balls. So you just put them in there, make sure there's a hole in the middle. That's where the ice cube will go. And let me show you around. This will take no time. So kind of like this. Hopefully you can see it. So that's it. Now we are gonna place an ice cube, one ice cube inside each of the plastic bags. So guess what I did? This is my fake ice cube. So just put it in the bag, seal the bag, that's very important, and place them in each of the containers, you know, inside the insulation. So let's pretend that's my ice cube, and I'm gonna use more cotton balls, you know, like a real cooler to cover that. And I'm gonna do the same with the bubble wrap. So again, my ice cube, seal the bag, kind of fold it, and put it in there. Now I'm gonna fold the bubble wrap, and all I have to do now is just, you know, is close the lids. So after, this was easy, right? Set a timer for 15 minutes and make some predictions. Was easier or not?
You threw me off with the fake ice there, but that's pretty smart because I guess it would have melted in this time frame. So you're going to use one piece of ice in each cooler so that you can compare those ice cubes to each other. Does that make sense? So you'll put an ice in each one and you're going to compare the insulation. And so you as a parent, you can make predictions. Does that sound familiar? We're making predictions again, just like we did in math. And you can talk with your child and compare which one do you think will work better as insulation? Do you think the cotton balls or the bubble wrap? And you can compare your predictions with each other and how much time do you think things are going to last, or the ice cube is going to last, and check back and that when that time is that timer goes off, excuse me, and see how much is left, how much is melted, and which one is smaller, how long do you think it would take for them to completely melt? Just lots of questions. Again, things like that that you can come up with. And you can talk about your whether or not your predictions were correct after the fact too, and ask questions about why or why not. Just have fun with it. This is yours. This is just a start to give you something, but you can really use anything around your house. You can use crumpled up paper and compare it to the cotton balls, or just try out different types of things for insulation. You can use socks. If I thought I could find socks in my house, that would be one. Towels, anything that you want. Or even you can compare one with insulation and then one with no insulation and see how that works. So just come up with some ideas on ways to make that experiment, you know, go crazy, whether you use it inside or outside. There's lots of tips that are there on your green sheet in that activity bag as well. And we'll send those out to you. Those of you that have joined us that may not have a bag with you, we're going to send you those activities too. So basically, parents, with both the science and the middle school activities, our middle schoolers can lead the way and we can just jump in and join. And it's fun. As parents, we can be more involved in what and how they're learning in those little 5 to 7 bits at a time, right? So whether you're playing hoops with them, or you're on a road trip, or headed to the pool or to a cookout, there's always some small opportunity that you can make those little connections with them along the way. And this summer learning also helps us to connect with them as they go through this new phase of maturity. And, you know, we may have moved on from asking them, what sound does this letter make, or how many blocks can you count? to more open-ended questions that might lead to bigger conversations about music and food or their passions and politics. And then they might just flip it around again to silly things like some of the ideas that we have in our sheet. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but isn't that exactly where they are in this age? Sometimes they're really childlike and goofy and silly and laughing. And then other times they're all of a sudden this very mature and have all this maturity and growth. And so they're kind of flipping back and forth between those. But those conversations are priceless. And just by doing this science experiment that Alejandra just showed you, you are reinforcing what they learned in 6th grade about thermal energy transfer. And we never even used that term. So you and your 6th grader have conquered way more than you even realize. You have mastered Zoom meetings. Here you are right now. Who would have ever predicted that? You have mastered online school, curbside groceries, curbside everything, right? You have mastered all things technology during this pandemic that we may not have ever learned before or had to learn before. So it's important to keep in mind that with as many challenges as we've faced this past year and our kids have faced through school and through the academics, we've also had many accomplishments as well. We're going to conquer 7th grade too. And I just want you guys to remember, use these as quick ideas to launch from and just keep having those conversations. Stay encouraged and engaged. Keep making observations and keep asking questions. They're going to think we're annoying anyway, right? So we might as well earn it. So parents, no matter how many times they roll their eyes, never, ever, ever doubt that you are making the biggest difference in your child's success. And, you know, just by being here tonight, you're advocating the very best for your child.
Well said, Debbie. And yes, parents, you've got this. Have some fun with these activities. Take pictures and share on our social media like Facebook or Twitter. We want to see you in action, and we hope this has given you a good start for this summer. We'd also like to hear your thoughts of tonight's session, so please take a moment to complete the survey that was just added to the chat box. There it is, by Alejandra, thanks. And it's just 4 basic questions. What did we do well? What could we have done better? What future sessions would you like to see? And the last one, what is something you will do differently after attending this session?
Yes, parents, it's really important that you filled out the survey. You can finish it even after we're done here. You just go and click the link right now, and we really appreciate you for taking the time to do so. And also, thank you for interacting with us tonight. I had fun and I learned a lot from you guys too.
Yes, thank you guys so much for taking the time to complete the survey. We value your time, and we're so thankful that you're here, and we hope it's helpful to you. And this survey really helps us to stay connected and to know how to better support you and what kind of things that you're looking for. And we're right here with you. We can't say it enough. You are your child's most important teacher, and you're doing a fantastic job. 7th grade is going to be a new beginning for all of us, and we are going to help each other every step of the way. So I hope that we've addressed your questions. We know that you still have more, and we'll be sending a follow-up email with lots of resources for you. Feel free to dialogue back with us so that if there's something specific that we missed or that we haven't gotten to yet or that you have an interest in, let us know, and we'll make sure to get that resource to you and get those questions answered. We really appreciate your time. Whatever you do, have a fantastic summer.
Thank you, families, for being here with us, and have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Buenas noches a todos y gracias por acompañarnos esta noche.